On the one hand, fake news is old news. We've had them throughout history, and sometimes in much worse form than what we see today.
But is there such thing as truth?
Yes, there is absolutely. I mean, there is reality. I mean, you have all these stories people tell about reality.
I see.
But ultimately, there is reality. The best test of reality that I know is the test of suffering. Suffering is the most real thing in the world. If you want to know whether a story is about a real entity or a fictional entity, you should just ask, can this entity actually suffer? Now, Google cannot suffer. Even if the stock goes down, even if a judge comes and says, this is a monopoly, you have to break it up, it doesn't suffer. Humans can suffer, like the managers, the owners of the stocks, the employees, they can suffer.
My girls.
Yeah, they can certainly suffer. But we can know very easily that Google is just a story by this simple test that it cannot suffer. And it's the same of nations, it's the same of currencies. The dollar is just a fiction recreated. The dollar doesn't suffer if it loses its value.
Let me push you on that, right? So oftentimes, like just in the U.S., they say the kind of the system we set up in the U.S. is an experiment. It's often styled as an experiment, democracy with the checks and balances, et cetera. Under one view of that, you can say that that's kind of a story that we've created in America, right? We've created this kind of really nice story, but if that was broken apart, like that entity is not suffering. But if that experiment is the thing, the proper functioning of those institutions and the things that support that story, that's the thing.
We know that it functions properly because it alleviates suffering. It provides healthcare, it provides safety, and if it doesn't, then we would say the experiment doesn't work. The experiment
So would you say that experiment is a fiction, or is that experiment reality? Is it a thing?
The experiment is a story that we share. It's things that we humans have invented and created in order to serve certain needs and desires that we have. It is a created story and not an objective reality, but it is nevertheless one of the most powerful forces in the world. When I say that something is a fiction or a story, I don't mean to imply it's bad or that it's not important. No, some of the best things in the world and the most powerful forces in the world are these shared fictions. Nations and corporations and banks and so forth, they are all stories we created, but they are the most powerful forces today in the world, far more powerful than any human being or any animal, and they can be a tremendous force for good. The key is to remember that we created them to serve us, and not that we are here in order to serve them. The trouble really begins when people lose sight of the simple reality that we are real, they are not. And a lot of people throughout history and also today, they kind of take it upside down. They think the nation is more real than me. I am here to serve it, and not it is here to serve me and my fellow humans.
Very